Okay, here's my video as promised, as I said on social media, regarding Cex. Now, for those of you who watched my vlog video, which was dated on Monday, you would have known about me going in there last week, and they basically ended up putting a different price to what was scanned up until. And then so I ended up obviously complaining to the people in the store, and then I also ended up complaining to the actual obviously they allow you to complain online on their website, so I did there. And then prior to that, I also went on to they got a help Twitter page where I also complained on there. And then what I would say is that the people on the Twitter page, they were a little bit more helpful in being apologetic, but obviously, I mean, to me, it wasn't good enough. Anyway, I got a email back yesterday regarding, because I complained about the last message thing that they sent me in regards of them saying to me that what I should do is that I should check online, or also whether it's online on your phone or it is, to check the prices of the products, which to me is a bit, to me that's really stupid, because it's not my job to do that. So if I'm looking around for several products, what I should have to sit there and go online to check how much the products are, to make sure that they're actually up to date and correct. Sorry, but that's not my job. I mean, that's the job of the staff in there that should be sitting there doing that. So that's when I replied and said no. If I'm basically if I'm happy to be near a store and I'm browsing and I have to go in and happen to have a look, I shouldn't have to sit there and do that. Now, there have been times when I've been after a particular game, and then I have checked to see if they've got it online when I'm at home, and to see if they've got it in stock. And it's a different price, because obviously you can put in your postcard to check it, which I've done, and that's been fine. So I've done that. But if I happen to think, if I'm walking past the store, I'm doing some shopping, or just window shopping as they call it, and I just want to sit there and do it, I should be able to sit there, should be able to sit there and to look in there. I mean, that's how I managed to get the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol Blu-ray Steelbook, which on the unboxing video I explained my history of it. And it just so happened that I happened to look into that store. I just happened to go into my local Cex, and then I happened to be at the right place at the right time in seeing it there, and I picked it up. And also they had Superman Man of Tomorrow, the DC animated series, which before they've had for about maybe £6 to £7, and they had it there for £3.50. And you know, sometimes when you're looking for bargains, or you see bargains in shops, whether it's a charity shop or, or even any other shop, because hardly any shops sell Blu-rays or DVDs or games these days. Sometimes it is about just being in the right place at the right time. I mean, you do find the products reduced, so that can happen. I mean, one night after I was in hospital, I decided to go to one of my 24-hour Asda's, and then they had like a PlayStation's pajama set. And then it was £6. And then ordinarily it's about £14. So you can sit there and find bargains, but as I said before, it's about being in the right place at the right time. You know, similar to what the Resident Evil thing, where obviously one has the one, it was 28, then apparently it was 48. They didn't want to sit and give it to that price. Went to another Asda, they gave it to me at 28. Now obviously if somebody else saw it, which would probably change the price of it, they probably wouldn't have done that. So yeah, sometimes you have to be, you have to be fortunate. Anyway, the reply I got back was that the excuse that they came up with this time in the latest email was, that the store was in the process of changing the price and the label, and that they explained this to me, which was, if you pardon my, I'm not going to try and swear because I won't get monetized because I'm not making any money from it. It's a complete load of old rubbish. because they never said that. All I was told was, oh, prices go up and down, and they never, the person I was speaking to never apologized for it. And so I replied back and I said to the people, rubbish, because when I went back there that time to go and buy the particular item, it was in the evening. So they had all day, and had a couple of all the day, and wherever it is that they changed it to basically change the price of it, and then they basically never bothered. And there are times that I have been inside CEX, and for example, they had some of the collection of the Hello collection they had for £12 at one point. Some of the stickers sat there and had them at £10. So if they were £10 and I'd have gone to 12, should have been an easy thing to sit there for them to fix the actual labelling, which I just think is just lazy. So I just replied back and I said no. I said that isn't the case, because now you're just coming out with a different excuse. And I said no, I'm not taking anything from your lazy staff that can't be bothered to sit there and to change the labels. And they didn't even apologise. And I said, even to the way that the people in the shop spoke to me, they were completely and utterly not understanding, and they were rude. And I said, I've complained that the staff were rude and not bothered. And I said, I didn't even get an apology from you for the way they treated me as a customer. And I didn't even get a apology for the way the staff, or for you to sit there and say your staff shouldn't have behaved like that. I mean, obviously I haven't checked my email as of now, so I don't know what they've said. And then when I've checked my my Twitter to the reply,
I found this on the web.
Yeah, whatever, Siri, right? The excuse that I got from the CEX on Twitter was completely different. So it's like they're telling you different things. So I mean, obviously, I'm not kind of very happy. And then the funny thing was, I forgot I may have mentioned it. It was Max Payne 3, which I already got in the PS3, but can't stream it. And obviously, I think the reason why they put the price up of the Max Payne 3 and obviously the other two games in the series is because obviously now Microsoft have added those games in the backward compatibility list. So that's the reason why they basically racked up the price. So that's why they did it. But then if you haven't changed the label, that's not my price. To me, if you've put the wrong label on it, they really should honour it. So this is where I'm going, a little bit later on, I'm going to sit there and say what other stuff they've done, because regarding the wrong labelling, they have done this before. But when they to meet with me 2 other times, and they actually honoured the actual price of the actual product. So they couldn't do it this time, which, you know what I mean? So again, I mean, I have had a history with CEX, right, where they've been, well, their customer service has been a bit crap. I mean, on their electrical products, they do offer you a 24-month warranty, which doesn't which, by the way, which I'm going to explain, doesn't really kind of mean completely anything. So, for example, when you sit there and you go into the store, especially if you're looking at stuff they've got on display and they can see that you're looking, the staff are so quick to ask you if you need any help with anything, which is what they're trying to do, trying to be polite, right? But what I will say is that the minute that you, right, so that's good customer, I suppose you could argue that's good customer service, that's what we're supposed to do. The minute that you have a problem with an item that you bought from there, they do not want to know. They couldn't be unhelpful in sitting there and wanting to kind of help you in sorting out the problem and kind of like pass the buck. And it's happened to me, it's happened to my brother, and I've seen it happen to many other customers in the store. So, for example, the first problem I had with them is I still have, I've got a PlayStation 3 Fat, as they call it, and it was I think it's the 80GB one. Unfortunately, not the one that was originally backward compatible. I think that's a 60GB one. Anyway, the machine still worked, but the problem with it is that the actual hard drive, not hard drive, sorry, I think it's the HDMI port there was a problem with it. So if I was playing it through SCART, it worked fine, but HDMI, it didn't work. So obviously, I mean, by the looks of things, the HDMI port needed to be replaced, which I have got a soldering iron on, but that at the time I never had one, and I don't know if I'm even gonna attempt to fix it. Anyway, so I decided to go in there and buy the PlayStation, the PS3 Slim. I think it was, I'm trying to think now, I think it was a 120. I think it was a 120, I think. And obviously, and I paid £65 for it. Anyway, so anyway, right, that worked fine. And then what I started to notice is that when I was playing DVDs, totally fine. Blu-rays, it started to skip. So I was looking into the research, and people were saying, oh, that it sounds like that the Blu-ray drive, sorry, the Blu-ray lens probably needs to be replaced, and it was making this funny noise where it kind of was was ejecting, but it wasn't reading the disc. So anyway, take it back to Cex because it's still under warranty. Told them the problem. They said to me what they'll do. They'll have a look into it, and then they would contact me in the next couple of days. After seeing what the problem was. So a couple of days became a few days. They basically never bothered to ring me back. So I basically ended up having to go back in there and said, look, right, no one's contacted me regarding the actual PlayStation 3. So I don't know what happened. They said to me, like, come back in about 2 hours or so, and then we'll do whatever do. Anyway, then they started saying to me, oh yeah, it looks like there's delays or something. And then they said, then the guy said to me, right, look, come back in a couple more days, and we'll definitely sit there and we'll try to sit there and see what we can do. Okay, fine, go back in there. Then they sit there, and then they tell me that apparently that Sony, that they've opened it up and they found all food in there and all that stuff, and then stuff there, which, bear in mind, remember, this console is second hand, so I didn't put it in that state anyway. And then they said, oh, that Sony refused to fix the console, so they just handed me back the console, and basically it was my kind of problem in dealing with it. So I ring up Sony. So I noticed something very strange where obviously there's screws at the back of the console, which you have to unscrew to get to the inside of the console. And then I noticed that there was one stick that, to get to the last screw, they've put this safety sticker on it, and basically if you unpeel the sticker, the actual sticker becomes void. So by that meaning, you can tell that somebody tampered with it. And I noticed, that the sticker wasn't void. So I started thinking, hang on a minute, how could they have opened it to assess what was wrong with it if they hadn't taken out that final screw and the sticker's not void? So anyway, I rang up Sony, got through to them, told them the problem. They said to me that it's definitely the laser that has basically gone wrong, and that it would cost about £100 to replace. Which, bear in mind, I paid £65 for the actual console. So I said to them that Cex refused to repair it, and then they said, no, we will sit there and we'll repair any Sony console, even the old ones, but as long as you sit there and you pay the money for the actual console, for the actual repair, we'll repair it. So I said, okay, cool. And then I said, and so I recorded the conversation. I recorded the actual conversation, and then they turned around, and then I'm trying to remember what they said to me. So I've gone back to Cex, and then I basically argued with them, and then so I said to them about the getting to the last screw, and then they basically said to me that to get to the last screw, yeah, you have to sit there and take the sticker, which the sticker is then becomes void. So they said to me, which means that they did not get into the actual machine. That was impossible. Which means that they never opened it. Which proves, obviously that they were actually kind of lying. Well, not kind of lying, they were lying. So I took it in there and I took it back. So basically I emailed the head office. I don't know how I managed to find their actual email address or the email. And then I managed to get somebody high up and I said to them what happened. And then eventually what ended up happening is they trying to move out of the way, it's a bit busy here. They basically said to me, at a gesture of goodwill, that they would replace the actual console, which they did. But the problem is that the one that they had, they never had the storage one I had, so I had to pay an extra £5 to get, I think it was a 160 gigabyte hard drive. And then when I got the console was dirty, full of scratch, which I've got the pictures of it because I had to make sure obviously that it was, to prove I didn't put it in that state. And I emailed the woman back and I said, look, the console's dirty, and you don't obviously clean your actual consoles. So she says to me, oh well, you can take it back to the store and get them to clean it. I said no. I said to them, you know what, I'll just clean the outside of it myself. So in the end, obviously, so I paid the extra £5 and got the 160. Anyway, a few months later, I think after the 12-month warranty or some crap like that, the ejecting sound started happening again. So like now, it still happens, but sometimes most of the time it kind of works, but some of the time it kind of doesn't. So it's kind of on and off, but it works. But obviously, one of these days I'll probably just try and replace the laser myself. So that's my story with them. And then obviously they were unreluctant and installed at first to say, oh, we're gonna replace the PS3. And it's only when I had to give them the code from the head office that they ended up having to sit there and do it. But it's you sitting there having to argue with them to get, for them to sit there to sort the thing out, which was an utter and complete pain in the arse to get them to sit there to sort out. And I had to fight and fight. I mean, I wasn't sitting there and not going to take it, because at the end of the day, when I have all my consoles, I've had pretty much everything from the NES, the original Game Boy, Pocket Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, and obviously these consoles wear and tear and yellow. And I've had the Wii, I've had the GameCube, N64, PlayStation 1, 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, obviously now the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and I always clean and look up my consoles. So hearing a story about them trying to sit there and say that I never cleaned, that it was dirt in there and food in there, that you have to blame the previous owner, because obviously whatever they did with it and with the smoking and stuff. And the thing about Cex is that when they get these consoles or laptops, they don't clean them. They don't clean them, because I've been in there. You see the dust in there and scratches. They don't even look up. They don't even look after their stuff. And I think, and then basically, if they checked out the lasers and cleaned them and maybe even replaced them, when they buy them off the customer, because obviously people could smoke, or depending on the environment they are around those consoles, then right, then these things can affect the laser, because these lasers will eventually go and they're delicate. And then for them to sit there and to turn around and to try to blame me for it, and this is what I mean by that. If you buy electrical products from them, they're quick to sell you something, but the minute you have a problem, they try to fob you off. Similar thing where my brother bought a MacBook. After that event happened, my brother bought a second-hand MacBook Pro, and if I'd known he was going to buy one from there, I would have sat there and said to him, you know what, no, don't buy one from there, because of what happened with the PS3. And then when I got when he got the MacBook, it wasn't even in a very good condition. Where you had the little things where you get to the screws, and so you can rest the consoles, to rest the MacBook so it keeps it flat. And then you had those little black grip things. I don't know, the rubber grip, circular grip things on them missing. So you basically had the actual screws where you would open the back of the MacBook Pro laptop exposed, and also there were dents and scratches and so forth and so forth. And he ended up having a problem with his eventually, which is not a surprise. And then when he took it back to funny enough, the same store, they were trying to sit and say to him that they never gave it to him in that condition. Now you have to bear in mind, some of the products I have are second hand, and then some of these products are actually graded. So they could be a grade C, a grade A, a grade B. So you don't know what state the actual consoles, the consoles or laptops are going to be in. And then in the end, I think he took it to another CEX, I can't remember where, and then they were basically going to assess whether or not they were going to repair it or not. And I think they eventually did. And then I know that what ended up happening is he ended up breaking, but where he works, they gave him a laptop to use, and obviously he's working from home, so he's got a kind of a newer MacBook. So that's that problem. Sometimes when I bought Blu-ray discs or games in there, obviously the discs are sometimes scratched or got smudges in there or fingerprints. They don't even clean them. And when I've done like unboxings of Blu-rays, even though not really unboxings because they're second-hand, I suppose, when they've been clean, I've praised, when I've done my videos, I've praised CEX for the prices, and then also I've praised CEX for the condition of the Blu-rays or games that I've got, like say Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, the Steelbook, which had a little crack in it, but that is easily fixed. And when I got Superman Man of Tomorrow, that still came with the slipcover. So it was in that kind of, and then obviously I bought Captain Marvel for £3.50 in there, clean disc. It looks as good as new. So sometimes, you know, where praise is due, I give praise where, I give praise where it's kind of needed. But when they don't do it, they don't do it. And that's what I've seen people buy I've seen people buy mobile phones in there, and when I've been browsing around the store and they said that, oh, they've got a problem with it. Now if they've dropped it and you can visibly see that the mobile phones are damaged, then yeah, you could understand why, for example, that they, you know what, because that's accidental damage. That's obviously they didn't get the phone in that condition, so that's kind of cool. But but some of the ones I've seen, there's no damage in it. I mean, it's trying to fob the person off because they think the person is stupid. So that's why personally I would never buy a mobile phone or anything electrical. You're better off saving the money and then just buying it brand new. Obviously you can still have problems when you're buying anything brand new, but to me, most of the time they'll either try and repair it, or you can sit there and say, look, I just want a new one. So I'll never sit there and buy a electrical product from there, you know, ever again. And then I bought they had the last Predator film that kind of came out, and it was in there for £1. And then so I went to go and put it in there, and then basically what it was is that they put the Arnold Schwarzenegger one on sticker on there, and then that Predator one I bought second hand was meant to be was supposed to be £8. So the manager had to sit there and give it to me for the manager had to sit there and give it to me for £1 because they had to honour it. So then they were kind of fine, and then that was kind of cool. Then another time, obviously there's been 3 Hellboy films. There's been the first Hellboy film and the second Hellboy film with Ron Perlman, and then there's the remake. And then I saw the remake for £2.50. Anyway, bought it. When I put the disc in, it's the first one with Ron Perlman. So went back into the store, and then told her what's happened. And the guy goes, no, it's the right thing. I said, no, it isn't. I said, this one, I can't remember if it came out 2019, and then the other one also came out in the early 2000s. And I tried to explain to them, and they're not even made by the same studio. So I'm arguing with the guy, and I'm telling the guy, look at the back of the case, and also look at the disc. They don't even match. So he's gone to the manager, and in the end, he just gives me the right disc. So basically, I was in the right all along. So I said, well, this is the problem that I have with CEX, right? I said, well, you can find some good bargains in it, but when it comes to electrical stuff, the company, they're really, really, really kind of bad, and then their customer service is poor. I've been lately, since COVID and lockdown, I've noticed that with I've had it happen to me, obviously with the Resident Evil Village. Today, same thing where they had cans of drinks for, they had 8 cans of drinks for £1. On Monday, picked it up, £1, no problem. Went back in there today, exactly the same display, exactly the same drink. The woman tried to charge me £2.80. She goes, pick another drink and then you can get it for £3. I said, no. I said to the woman, it's 8 for £1. Because I said it says it on the display. She wasn't having it, so I just walked out of it. And, you know, mate, and so, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's a COVID thing or what, but if you've put the wrong price on the display, that's not the customer's fault. So that's why I say to people that if you're gonna buy anything, right, do not buy anything. Do not buy anything from CEX, because as I said, they will sell it to you. And the minute that you sit there and then you have a problem with it, it's going to be a pain in the arse in getting them to sit there to do it. Unless you put your foot down and then you manage to find the actual, what's it called again? The actual head office email where you get through to a human being that's willing to kind of listen. So that's basically my complete rant. And I don't know, I mean, it's not like I'm swearing at them or being visibly angry or violent. I'm being calm and collective, and then this is the way that these people behave in there. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with CX, but I would, if you're going to buy a mobile phone, laptop, anything electrical, I would say don't, unless you know how to fix it yourself and you're prepared to sit there and spend that kind of money, I would say don't buy it from there. Try to buy it brand new. I know it's hard and, you know, money can be tight and things are expensive, but I definitely would say try to buy new, because you're not going to have all those kind of issues, and especially if you got it especially if you got it insured. That's why I would never buy like a mobile phone off of them. I'd rather sit there and buy it completely new and fresh, because I've had mobile phones iPhones where they've gone wrong, and if it's been repaired or if it's under the film rig, right, they give you a completely new phone. That's happened to me twice with Apple. So, as I said, I know it on the surface it looks cheap and it looks cheap, but it's just not worth. It's just not worth the hassle in dealing with the crap that they give you. And that's all. It seems like to me that they don't either repair it, because I said before with the PS3 where they clearly didn't open it. And with their phones, they to me, the staff are trained there. They don't seem to know what it is that they're actually doing. So don't waste your time. Believe me, believe for me, I'm going to be on some brutal with you. Save the money and get it brand new. Or if you know somebody that's selling it and you know they're a very good friend of yours and then you can trust them, get it off of them. But don't buy from CX. After you hear my horror stories, I've probably got more horror stories about them, but I just can't remember them. Anyway, I hope people you know, find this video informative. And it's a bit long, probably my longest rant video. So anyway, feel free to share and to like this video. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'm on 246 subs at the moment, so I'm trying to push for 250 subs before Christmas. Maybe I'll I mean, one day hopefully everyone will get to 1,000 subs, but 1,000 subs, but that's going to be a long way. I'm also going to try to do more gameplay videos. So I'm going to try, especially with Christmas coming up, and I'm going to try and do more unboxing videos, especially with my new comics, and also I've got some classic comics as well that I might sit there and try and talk about. So anyway, take care, bye for now, and stay safe.